does appear so. Maxwell is the first federal inmate in New York City to be allowed an in-person visit. That means somebody was able to see her face-to-face since the beginning of a COVID-19 pandemic. And keep this in mind, all the other prisoners in there have not been able to see their families for months. And suddenly she comes in and she's able to do it, which has a lot of folks asking questions about that. This past Friday, Maxwell's lawyer visited her in jail for a consultation. Don't worry if you are worried. I'm not sure you are. They were both wearing masks. For more on why this is being allowed, we're joined by legal and media analyst Lionel, who I guess you can't help but wonder as you look at this, why would she get something that nobody else in the prison has gotten? Lionel?
Well, part of me says, let's make sure she's alive. So if anybody deserves a little bit of extra care to make sure she's still with us, I think it might be her. I like the way you say, don't worry, she's wearing a mask. That's the least of her problems right now. Now, Rick, since time immemorial, whenever there has been a high, kind of a blue chip defendant, somebody who is on or in custody, the federal government has gone through incredible pains to give the impression that maybe they are where they claim to be, but really they aren't. Whether it's Sammy the Bull, whether it was Henry Hill from Goodfellas fame. Have you ever seen a booking photo, a mug shot, anything other than these horrible courtroom artists? And by the way, why the worst artists in the world work for the courts, I have no idea. But have you ever seen anything? Let me explain to you a little bit about who this person is. This is a woman who has a bachelor's and a master's, in essence, from Oxford. She's a licensed helicopter pilot, a licensed submarine pilot. She has an ROV certificate. That's a remote operator, kind of an underground vehicle. She's a licensed certified EMT technician. This is high level. This is not your ordinary prisoner. This is a person who smells of having intel connections, the likes of which who knows. So, to answer the question, and I say this reservedly, assuming the story is as they say, yes, it would appear that she's getting preferential treatment or treatment that is different. But what is interesting now is look how other co-defendants, potential co-defendants, civil and criminal, are worried like you can't believe. Is that not the message they're trying to send? And after all, she's only looking at 35 years. Let me ask you, Rick, you've been around professionally, journalistically, and around. Just kidding, whatever that means. But do you think maybe that she's as important as other people are? Where are all of the tapes and the thumb drives, the audio and the video? That is what I want to know. Rick, what exactly does she serve? What purpose does she serve? What can she, substantiate, authenticate? She says, yes, I was there. She's not the target. If she says, well, so-and-so was involved in something, what about the evidence? Who needs her? So it's some of it makes sense. It all makes sense. It's still fascinating. And is the investigation over just with her? Rick, this was going on for 20-something years, perhaps maybe thousands of people. Are we going to hear about Prince Andrew again? Others? Is she going to be the fall guy, so to speak, with all that's going on with COVID and all of the problems? She's just the tip of the iceberg. And now they're looking into banks, and there was an investigation into Barclays, whether perhaps there might have been some type of asset relocation that they're looking at. So, Rick, these are almost like little morsels, little amuse-bouche, just to kind of tantalize us, just so we can say, oh, yeah, I heard something about her. Something's being done. There were pictures of El Chapo. Where is she? How do we know? I hope for her sake, if she's sitting in a Brooklyn detention center alone under these circumstances, for her safety, I hope she is someplace else. I hope she is not there. And why she has to be here in the first place. Rick, there are federal prisons that are equipped for people of her stature. They can put her into cells where they have monitors that can look at skin temperature and basal temperature to make sure nothing's going wrong. She can be guarded in Montana. She can be in a federal prison where her lawyers can go to see her. Why Brooklyn? Or here? Why? None of it makes any sense to a lot of people and not just me.
Wow. You know, it's the case that just keeps on giving, and I can't help but ask myself oftentimes how she got caught, knowing everything that they had and that would likely be arresting her at any time. I don't understand how it was that she wasn't in,
Let me ask you this.
Maui on some beach somewhere, hiding out in some place. I just don't understand that. But we only got 15
Can I
seconds.
ask you a
so
question?
yeah, go ahead.
If you were Ghislaine Maxwell, would you be alone in a place in New Hampshire with big picture windows, just by yourself?
No.
I would be. Believe me, you couldn't find me. I don't understand.
Yeah, I'll never understand why. Maybe she was gullible enough to think that they weren't going to charge her and that they didn't have a case against her and that they would never charge her for some reason. But apparently they did, and now it's the next part of the story. And we thank you so much, Lionel, for joining us and taking us through that.
Stay well, my friend.
I appreciate it. We go to